Hello everyone, my name is Xincui. Today I'm going to presenting a Chinese folklore, The Butterfly Lovers, and one of its film adaptations in 2008. Now let's get started. The Butterfly Lovers is a famous folklore in China. It is one of the four tragic love stories in ancient China. The other three are The Legend of White Snakes, The Legend of Lady Mengjiang and The Cowherd and Weaver Girl. Since the Eastern Jin Dynasty, the butterfly lovers has been popular among the people for more than 1,700 years. The story of the butterfly lovers includes real events in history, which are supported by historical materials and cultural relics. Being the most fascinating oral and cultural heritage in China, this Chinese folklore has a wide influence in the world. This legend has also been adapted into many art forms such as film, TV series, ballet, gymnastic performances, and music, which are deeply loved by the people. There are several traditional plots that are common to virtually all of its adapted versions. Zhu Yingtai was born into a wealthy family. He disguised herself as a man and went out to study with a girl named Yin Xin. On the way, she met Liang Shanbo, a male scholar who was going to the same college. They were friends at the first sight. During 3 years of schooling, the students had a deep affection. Yingtai also had a crush on Shanbo. The family urged Yingtai to go back home. Yingtai left school early, taking Shanbo's promise to visit her soon at her home. When Liang Shanbo arrived at Zhu Yingtai's home, Yingtai had already been betrothed to another man, Ma Wencai. Consequently, he left with a broken heart. Soon thereafter, Shanbo was seriously ill and died in despair. Yingtai pretended to agree to the marriage of Ma family, but demanded to pass in front of Liang Shanbo's tomb on the wedding day. When the bride Yingtai is taken to Ma Wencai's home in another district, the marriage procession is stopped by a tempest near the site of Liang Shanbo's tomb. Yingtai visited the tomb. Upon her wailing, the tomb opened up and she disappeared into it. Then the tomb immediately closed again. Soon a pair of butterflies came out of the tomb. The couple's post-mortem transformed into butterflies. So the 2008 film version is quite different from the traditional story of the butterfly lovers. To be exact, it is a new story based on the prototype of traditional folk tales. Just as 1,000 readers have 1,000 Hamlets in their hearts, so does this story in Jingle Ma's heart. Let's see the director Jingle Ma. The director and the screenwriter of the 2008 Butterfly Lovers film is Jingle Ma. He was born in Hong Kong in 1957 and he is a famous photographer and director. In his early years, he worked as an advertising photographer. Most of his works were romantic love and action movies with strong visuals. His action films and love films are very successful, and his representative works included the film Tokyo Raiders. The Butterfly Lovers in 2008 is rewritten by Jingle Ma. It is not a traditional butterfly story. In fact, the protagonist is a reincarnation of Liang Shanbo and Zhu Yingtai. The plot of Zhu Yingtai's disguised as a man and the ending of their final reincarnation into butterflies are preserved, but the middle part is completely different. The movie begins with an explanation of the legend of butterfly lovers. Legend has it a virgin boy and girl fell in love in heaven. They were banished to the mortal world to suffer 4 times. The first life is Meng Jiangnu and Wan Xiliang. The second life is Liang Shanbo and Zhu Yingtai. The third life is Guo Hualang and Wang Yueying. This story begins in the 10th century. Reincarnation from Liang Shanbo and Zhu Yingtai. So in this movie, Liang Shanbo was renamed Liang Zhongshan, Zhu Yingtai was renamed Zhu Yanzhi, and Ma Wencai was renamed Ma Cheng'en. Liang Shanbo has become art martial hero from a weak scholar, and Ma Wencai has become a man who dares to take any risks for his love. In Jingle Ma's eyes, the image of Liang Shanbo makes Chinese young men look very manly. I want to change that, he says. It is very uncomfortable for a man to vomit blood and die at home because his family just agree with their doesn't agree with their marriage. Why don't you fight for it? Nowadays, men, even if rejected, will work hard for love first. The old version of this legend is all about Yin Tai's first facing up to their affection and then jumping into the grave and dying for love. If you love a woman, you should protect her and love her. Therefore, I believe such a change will be recognized by the young audience. Now, I will introduce the film through different perspectives of idols, romance, action, and plot. Let's see the first one, the idols. The film's three leading roles are Cai Zhuoyan, Wu Cun, and Hu Ge. They're all idols in the hearts of teenagers nowadays, who are the main audience groups of this movie. Cai Zhuoyan is a Hong Kong Canadian actress and singer. She is a member of Canton pop group Twins. Wu Cun, a Bruneian Chinese actor, singer, and model. He was a member of Fahrenheit, a Taiwanese metal pop group from 2005 to 2011. Hu Ge was born in Shanghai. He is a Chinese actor and singer. He gained widespread acclaims with his roles in The Drummer, The Discusser, and The Nirvana in Fire. Next one is Harlem Yu. He is a Taiwanese singer, songwriter, and television host. And there are also previous martial arts stars joined this film. Di Long, who is a Hong Kong actor known for his numerous starring roles in many action movies, and Xiong Xinxin is a Hong Kong martial artist and actor and action director. The combination of new and old idols has attracted a large audience of this movie. The second one is romance. Being a photographer, Jingle Ma also has a strong sense of picture in both romantic love and action movies. Many beautiful scenes in this film are amazing. He insisted that his films should have such commercial elements such as beautiful pictures, vivid content, fashion, and dynamic. He likes to use the overhead camera to set off the hero's handsomeness or use close-up frames to focus on depicting the heroine's youth and beauty. This is Jingle Ma's excellent work as photographer. The third one is martial arts action. Instead of attending school, the protagonists are learning and practicing martial arts in this movie. Given to the new element into the traditional story, here we have to mention the martial art director of this film, Tony Chang. He's a Hong Kong action choreographer, actor, film director. You will get a lot from these movie clips. All right, next one is the plot. The plot of Zhu Yanzhi's thefts is obviously based on the classic scenes of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. Juliet wanted the priest to find a drastic way to be with her lover. The priest gave her a special kind of medicine. It imitated death after taking it, but she would wake up in 24 hours. Juliet's wedding becomes a funeral. When Romeo discovers the dead Juliet drinks poison and falls beside her, the resurrected Julia resolutely ends her young life, embracing love with Romeo and going to heaven together. In the traditional story, Yin Tai devotes herself to the tomb on the wedding day and dies for love. But in this movie, the herbal head teacher plays the role of a priest. He gives Zhu Yanzhi a total pill, which made her appear dead. However, Liang Zhongshan doesn't know about it and falls into despair. After his death, Zhu Yanzhi wakes up and finally chooses to die for love. Although the story is tragic, there are many funny plots in the middle, especially in the first half, which is one of the characteristics of Jingle Ma's film. Alright, now let's talk about some Chinese culture in this film. The first one is education. In a patriarchal society, the social status of men are higher than that of women, so women have no opportunity to be educated, even in the realm of martial arts. So East Clan doesn't accept the female disciples. Therefore, Zhu Yanzhi had to leave home in a male disguise, similar to the tale of Mulan, which is a famous story of Hua Mulan's taking the place of her father in the imperial army. The second one is marriage. In feudal China, due to filial piety, a children's marriage was arranged by their parents, which means they do not have the freedom to find true love. At the same time, parents would choose appropriate of similar family background and socioeconomic status, rather than in consideration of their child's feelings. In this movie, Zhu Yanzhi's family is of high status and wealthy, whereas Liang Zhongshan, who grew up as an orphan, couldn't even compare with martial and social status. And some other elements of Chinese culture in this film. Let's see. The first one, the color, red and white. When a wedding becomes a funeral, the red representing a wedding and the white representing a funeral constitutes a strong visual impact, which enhances the tragic effect of the film. All right, next one, let's see the hair cutting. Body hair and skin from the parents could not be damaged, which is also the beginning of the filial piety. In feudal Chinese society, cutting one's hair meant breaking up a friendship or relationship and never meeting each other again. Hairpin, as a love token, was returned to Liang Zhongshan, which is definitely a second strike on him. Let's see the last one, pairing. Yanzhi often says, the butterflies are always in pairs. Does it remind you that Chinese people like even numbers, like a pair of chopsticks, a pair of butterflies? So a lot of things should be put together into two, symbolizing auspiciousness and meaning perfect and harmonious. All right, the last part we will see traditional Chinese music. The well known melody is played by many kinds of musical instruments. The Butterfly Lovers violin concerto, based on the folklore and Yue drummer, is a work by He Zhenhao and Chen Gang when they were studying Shanghai Conservatory of Music. It was written in the winter of 1958 and premiered in Shanghai in May 1959. It was well received by Yu Lina as a violin solo. All movies, TV dramas, and stage performances will have this classic repertoire. In the hearts of Chinese people, the music and story of the Butterfly Lovers are inextricably linked. Whenever people hear the melody of the Butterfly Lovers, they will think of star-crossed lovers Liang Shanbo and Zhu Yingtai. In the 2008 film version, it finally retained the traditional ending of Butterfly, still using the same music. In the last scene, the sword engraved with the butterflies was inserted in the tomb. When Zhu Yanzhi decided to close her eyes and stay with her love Liang Zhongshan, the two butterflies on the sword flew up wonderfully. The surprise brought to the audience is a good combination of sword and butterfly symbolism. For a long history in China, butterflies have been a beautiful symbolizing for freedom. The two people in the story turn into butterflies, which is also a beautiful blessing, carrying the implication of flying freely behind them. This film is a good combination of traditional Chinese culture and modern art forms. It is a very successful film in terms of plot, beautiful scene, and actors' performance. If you want to learn more about Chinese popular culture, this film will be a good beginning on this journey. All right, that's all for my presentation. Thank you very much.